On your newscast tonight, Leon County has registered its largest number of African Americans. What's causing the nationwide meningitis outbreak? And find out if FAMU won their second home game of the season. Your evening edition of News 20 at 5 starts right now.
From the highest of 7 hills in Florida's capital city, covering every corner of the Big Bend, this is the award-winning News 20 at 5 Live.
Good evening, I'm Jasmine Harris. Florida is the first state to reach 100 gun permits. This year, there has been over 1,800 applications for concealed weapon permits. The Florida Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services reports say they receive over 30,000 applications a month, but issue 12 to 15,000 permits during that month. Even though the numbers may be staggering, owner of Fulmar's Pawn Shop, Mark Fulmar, says it's all about how you use the gun.
You're not supposed to do anything wrong with any of them. So it has more to do not with how many, but how they're used. The guns don't use themselves, people do.
Have the number of homicides in Tallahassee gone up since last year? Reporter Natalie Johnson finds out more.
Someone please call 911. The homicide rate is a problem in Tallahassee. According to the Tallahassee Police Department, there has been 10 homicides this year, 3 less than last year. Brittany Washington, the sister of slain FAMU basketball player Shannon Washington, says what hurts the most about her death is
the way that she died. Because I lost a brother before, he was sick. So, I mean, people are gonna die. I'm okay with loss, but it's just the way that she died, like she was taken.
To avert residents from ending up in a graveyard or the emergency room, Officer David Northway says police officers are taking preventive measures.
We use community education. We use social media. We have officers out there on the streets. We have officers on bicycles called the COP Squad, the Community Oriented Policing Squad. We have officers on the Target Enforcement Squad. These are all officers that are geared towards getting into the communities, talking with the people. Officer
Northway said Tallahassee is right on task to have the same homicide numbers from last year and that most of them are gun-related. Even though Tallahassee residents are thankful that a shooting on Richmond Street in April left the victim alive, unfortunately a murder on Holton Street in August added to the homicide numbers for this year.
There was no big change in the homicide rate this year, but we can only hope in the upcoming years that rate will diminish. And if you do decide to kill, you will land behind bars. For News 20 at 5, I'm Natalie Johnson.
There's been an arrest for every homicide this year. Thanks, Natalie, for that story. In some lighter news, will the opening of Cascade Park be pushed back a couple more months? Planners discovered a sinkhole inside the park after spotting water swirls underneath the site for the art-centric Boca Chupa Pond. Commissioners approved an additional $500,000 to be reserved in case another problem is detected. The park was scheduled to open this month. Leon County has registered 51,000 African Americans, its largest number in the county's history. Leon County Supervisor of Elections Ian Sancho says 4,000 more African Americans registered than in 2008. Thanks to citywide voter registration drives, he says political participation does not end with voting.
And we have to look at voting not as a magic solution to a problem, but a step-by-step process that puts us into the driver's seat to control the policies of what we see around us.
2012 has been a good year for home buyers. Home prices are lower, construction has picked up, and mortgage rates have declined. People who are looking for bigger homes can now afford them, especially in the best parts of town. Tim Shepard of Regions Bank said it's a good time for buyers.
We've never probably seen values as low as they are right now within the last 10 or 15 years in Tallahassee. The other thing is that we're in a really low interest rate environment. Market conditions have pushed interest rates to historic lows.
Even though the percentage of first-time buyers fell, Derek Kravitz of the Associated Press says economic conditions that helps home sales are improving, which is leading to real estate recovery. Coming up after the break, find out about the daredevil skydiver who fell faster than the speed of light. And will Jerry Sandusky spend the rest of his life behind bars? Stay tuned. You're watching News 20 at 5, the evening edition.
Florida A&M University students have explored international cultures while discovering what they can become.
From Hong Kong working as a camp counselor to the Dominican Republic for the Study Abroad program, I discovered my passion for international studies. As Miss FAMU, the university has prepared me to represent my institution in the global market.
Discover what you can become.
Descubrir lo que puede llegar a ser.
Yeah, what she said. For more information about our study abroad program, visit discoverfamu.com.
Every day, our brave troops and their families stand up for us.
For years, we've asked so much of so few.
Now we have a chance to serve these heroes.
To give time, offer comfort, or lend a hand.
To ease the burden on a military family.
Let's honor their service by volunteering ours.
Welcome back. The Centers for Disease Control has now confirmed 15 deaths as a result of fungal meningitis. The outbreak is linked to a contaminated steroid injection. The number of meningitis cases has risen to 205. The contaminated steroid medication was traced to a company in Massachusetts.
364, we've traced them back, we've identified them, we found them, and we actually reached out and contacted a vast majority of them, probably 95%, maybe a handful or two of cases that have not been contacted directly yet.
Felix Baumgartner becomes the first human to make the highest skydive, 24 miles above the Earth's surface. The Australian is also the first to break the sound barrier without a plane or spacecraft. CNN's Brian Todd explains more.
With a heart-pounding hop into the stratosphere, Felix Baumgartner makes history. He jumps from 128,000 feet above the Earth, 24 miles up, higher than anyone before him. During freefall, he spun for a few harrowing moments, but stabilized quickly.
It started spinning so violent, it spun me around in all different axes, and I was always trying to find out how to stop this, I was putting one arm out and it didn't work, then I'm putting another arm out, but you're always late because at that speed, when you travel at that speed, with that suit when it's pressurized, you don't feel the air at all.
In those first seconds, he broke another record. No one had ever gone through the sound barrier outside a vehicle. Baumgartner reached a top speed of more than 700 miles an hour, well past the speed of sound. Freefall lasted 4 minutes 19 seconds before his parachute opened. That's short of the record for the longest freefall in history. But after he safely touched down, the man known as Fearless Felix was hailed as an aerospace pioneer.
It's hard to realize what happened right now because there's still so many emotions, I had tears in my eyes when I was coming back a couple times because you're sitting there and you thought about that moment so many times, how it would feel and how it would look like. And this is way bigger than I anticipated.
This mission had been 5 years in the planning. In Baumgartner's ear during the ascent, Colonel Joe Kittinger, the man whose record Baumgartner broke. Kittinger had jumped from 102,000 feet in 1960. I interviewed Baumgartner and Kittinger together earlier this year.
Are you jealous of Felix that he's going to break your record?
I'm delighted. I'm delighted he's going to do it. He's advancing science, and he'll do a great job.
Mission leaders and space officials hope this jump will show them if astronauts, space tourists, or high-altitude pilots can survive for any extended period outside a vehicle if there's a malfunction. If it held up as expected, Baumgartner's high-pressure suit could be the next generation suit for future missions.
Baumgartner said he is now retiring from skydiving and would like to pursue a career as a helicopter rescue pilot. On a sad note, this evening, huge crowds are expected to attend the memorial service for Jessica Ridgway, the 10-year-old Colorado girl who was killed on her way to school. The service will be held at Faith Bible Church in Arvada, Colorado. The church isn't the family's, but it holds over 2,000 people. The associate pastor, John Melito, spoke about what he wants to convey with this service.
That we're sorry, that we ask the Lord to comfort them in this difficult time. That we just want to be there to talk with them, to be of any of assistance, to mostly listen.
The police are continuing to search for Ridgway's murderer. Former Penn State University football assistant coach Jerry Sandusky was sentenced 30 to 60 years in prison. The 68-year-old was convicted of 45 counts of child sexual abuse. He was found guilty of abusing 10 boys over a 15-year span with children he was helping through his charity. Sandusky could have faced 400 years for his convictions. Coming up in sports, in college football, did FAMU blow out this competition? And was FSU seeing double? Stay tuned. You're watching News 20 at 5, the evening edition.
Florida A&M University students continue to define themselves as role models, pace setters, and young professionals on the global scale.
Choosing FAMU has helped me to discover the world. I've had the opportunity to help America's deployed military families by educating their children in Spain, Italy, Germany, Switzerland, France, Austria.
So how many stamps do you have in your passport?
A lot.
For more information about Camp Adventure and our other programs, visit discoverfamu.com.
FAMU shut down Savannah State University Tigers at home with a 44-3 victory. The win breaks the Rattlers' two-game losing streak. The Rattlers offense scored 6 touchdowns, 1 field goal, and rushed for 300 yards. The Rattlers will play against South Carolina State on October 20th. Moving over to FSU, dominated Boston College Eagles with a 51-7 win. In the Battle of School Colors, FSU quarterback E.J. Manuel set a career high for passing yardage, and FSU kicker Dustin Hopkins broke both the FSU and ACC all-time scoring record. The Seminoles' next game will be an away game against the University of Miami Hurricanes. And in volleyball, FAMU swept the Bethune-Cookman Wildcats in 3 sets. Freshman Yaisha Arcia scored the two biggest shots of the game. One of them gave the Rattlers a 2-point lead. The Wildcats couldn't catch. The win kept the Rattlers undefeated in the MEAC. Their record is 7-8. And in college basketball, FSU fans are ready for men's basketball. Fans filled the Leon County Civic Center to see the basketball players compete in a dunk contest, a 12-minute scrimmage, and a 3-point shootout. Junior forward Osaro White won both the dunk contest and 3-point shootout. The team won their first ACC championship last season. And now to an adorable story. Meet 2 boys who are not your average teenagers. They are going to a gymnastics championship.
Meet Chase Lane and Jeb Ward. These two are not the typical 12-year-olds because they are only 2 of the 3 boys in the Southeast region who are going to the National Future Stars Championship.
My coach Nikolai and Coach Jim, they chose me and Jeb to go to Future Stars Colorado. They thought we were ready and we were good.
In October, the best friends qualified for nationals at the regional meet in Atlanta, Georgia. They practice 6 days a week, and they are never scared of trying new somersaults and backflips.
It's just exciting, it's just, it never gets old. There's just new things on and on. For other sports, you just work at it, but the same things, there's just always something new.
This type of positive attitude keeps the boys focused. Their coach Nikolai says that they are a couple of clowns, but these jokesters know when to settle down and work on their skills. Chase and Jeb are ready to conquer nationals. They'll be competing against 45 other boys nationwide. The competition features 9 different events, which include Chase's favorite, the rings, and Jeb's favorite, the high bars. Coach Nikolai has been in their footsteps before. The retired gymnast will be traveling with them to the championship in Colorado Springs, Colorado.
It's a one-day competition, and they go through the normal 6 events, the 6 men's events: floor, pommel horse, rings, vault, parallel bars, and horizontal bar. And then there's an additional 3 events that they'll do: flexibility, trampoline, and then in their case, because of their age, a range strength routine.
Next on News 20 at 5, the evening edition, see who President Obama visited in Virginia, a campaign stop.
Remember when imagination could take us anywhere? It still can. Destination Imagination is an extraordinary after-school activity that lets any child experience creativity, teamwork, and problem-solving. Parents and teachers, start a Destination Imagination team and let your child begin the journey of a lifetime.
President Obama visited volunteers at a Virginia campaign office, and he brought them a tasty gift.
Hello, everybody. Hello. How you doing? I brought some food. What's going on?
Jim Moran.
Good to see you, Jim.
How are you, sir?
How you doing, man?
Pleasure.
After greeting volunteers and staffers, he made calls to local volunteers, thanking them for their support. He then shook hands of supporters who were waiting for him outside the campaign office. Well, that'll do it for us tonight. Thanks for watching News 20 at 5, the evening edition, and make sure to follow us on Twitter. I'm Jasmine Harris, and from all of us at News 20 at 5, have a good night.